Hey there, beautiful people. Today we're going to talk about cold calling for wholesale real estate. Really, the best way to find motivated sellers is to, kind of get into the action. And in this video, I'm going to explain a couple of different strategies and systems you need to put in place for your cold calling efforts. A lot of videos here on YouTube will talk about, actually making the cold calls, the scripts and stuff like that. I'm a systems and marketing guy, so I'm going to talk about the back-end processes, some of the methodology, how you want to pull your data list. So if you are enjoying this type of content, make sure you subscribe down below, hit the notification bell. I'm trying to drop videos at least twice a week. Some days I go crazy and I drop a video a day, all about marketing for real estate investors, wholesale real estate, fix and flips. If you're finding motivated sellers, any of that type of content will be here on this channel. So for those of you that are worried, I am not driving, I am parked. Shooting this video before I head into the gym. So really quick, let's go ahead and get into it. So cold calling for real estate investors to find motivated sellers. So again, as you'll see here on YouTube, there's lots of videos talking about, cold calling scripts, actual cold calls, how you should be cold calling. So my personal opinion is cold calling is effective when you're getting started in the game. If you're looking to scale beyond, 3 to 4 deals a month and you want to do 5, 10, 15, even more, you shouldn't be the one on the phone making the cold calls. You want to build a business to where you can step out of that business and you can have other people doing the cold calling for you. So essentially the way that I think about it is the same way that I think about marketing. So cold calling is a first step to creating a relationship with someone. So when you are meeting someone for the first time, you have your first conversation, you get to know them, get to know their situation, who they are, what do they like, what they don't like. That's the same thing cold calling is. You're not going to, well, I guess I shouldn't say you're not, but in most cases, you're not going to close a deal the very first time on a cold call. You'll have an additional follow-up call, you'll have an appointment where you'll talk a little bit more about the specifics. And really my biggest beef with cold calling is the effectiveness of it. So even really good cold callers are making, a couple hundred dials a day, and they're probably only getting in touch with a handful of people. That's a lot of effort and a lot of time spent on the phones. You as a business owner, you should look at valuing your time way more than the time that it takes you to make those cold calls. Especially if you're a real estate investor and you're able to pull, $10,000 to $20,000 spreads per deal, your time is worth a couple $100s per hour. So in my case, it makes a lot more sense to pay someone even up to $10 per hour to make those phone calls for me. And even if they are in, the United States and they're a little bit more expensive, or you find someone down in Mexico or in the Philippines that speaks really good English, or even in Egypt, we've had VAs. They're just making that initial relationship engagement with you, with the seller. So what they're doing is they're making the first contact, they're reaching out and basically setting an appointment for you to go down and close that deal. So now your time is spent not finding the leads, but your time is spent on closing the deals, which is where it should be for you to be an effective business owner. So that's my thoughts on cold calling. So the second piece of it is to be an effective cold caller, you want to make sure that you're focusing on very niche data sets. So what does that mean? When you're cold calling, you can cold call every single phone number in a county, in a specific area. You can do driving for dollars to get your cold calling list to look at distressed homes, or you can take, an activity that isn't as effective as it could be already and double the effectiveness of it by being smart with your data strategy. So what we recommend to our high level clients is that they go and pull like really niche data sets. So these are like tax delinquents. If you can have someone find, people that are in distressed situations, like they're getting divorced. These are, houses that have had fires. These are very niche data sets to where, your likelihood of getting in touch with a motivated seller is a lot higher than if you were pulling, let's say, an absentee list or a pre-foreclosure list, where, those things are being hammered really hard by every investor. You want to pull something as niche as you can because it gives you the highest chance of success. So what I'd recommend for those broader lists, like absentee lists, where there's lots of contacts, lots of people, whether they're in-state absentees or out-of-state absentees, those are the methods that I would do SMS and RVM. Again, there's a lot of activity that happens on that, but it's activity that you're not doing. So you're mining leads from this other pool while you're trying to be as effective as possible with your cold calling strategy. So that way, the time that you are spending on the phones, if you're still making the cold calls, is at a place where you have a highest percentage chance of finding a motivated seller. And then on the SMS RVM side, which is what I like to stack together with cold, so that's going to help you mine those activities. So cold calling right now is pretty effective. Really, the top 3 marketing channels right now are cold calling, SMS and RVM, and the re-emergence of pay-per-click ads on Facebook. So we call them digital bandit signs. Those are the core 3 channels right now that are really crushing it. But cold calling is really effective for a lot of investors, and some of the high-level investors that we work with here in Arizona that are doing more than 5 to 10 deals a month are relying on cold calling. So they have VAs that are making the cold calls for them. They're giving them these niche data sets to go after and target, and what's turning out is they're getting lots and lots of deals. Also, a very effective channel if you're getting started out is joint venturing and partnering with other real estate investors, realtors, loan officers, probate attorneys. All those are good areas to where you can JV and connect with other people to get deals, if that's a marketing channel that you want to go down. But again, since we're specifically talking about cold calling in this video, again, I'll just summarize my 2 thoughts. First is, if you're cold calling, if you want to move beyond essentially just having a job and a well-paying job as a real estate investor, you want to get someone to start taking those cold calls for you and setting an appointment. If you are still making those calls for yourself, give yourself the highest chance of success by pulling more niche data sets. So again, tax code, tax delinquents, water shutoffs, people that are getting divorced and those types of situations. And I would avoid the broad data sets. So you want to find people in as distressed as a situation as you can for your cold calling efforts to give you the highest chance of success there. And then 2 is to stack, so first one is give yourself the highest chance to optimize your data strategy, and then 3 is looking into stacking other marketing channels together. So you want to stack our 1-2 punch really is SMS ringless voicemail campaigns through Slingshot SMS, and then cold calling with VAs. If we can stack those 2 together, you have a pretty good system that'll get you through the first half of 2020. But I think there's going to be lots of changes with text messaging, ringless voicemails, and also cold calling coming in the next year through federal regulations and stuff like that. So you want, as a business owner, to start hedging against that. So if you guys are enjoying this content, again, make sure you subscribe down below. We are building a brand new lead flow analyzer for all of the real estate investors, no matter what your exit strategy is. Basically, what you'll be able to do is punch in what your current marketing strategy is, and on the back end, we'll spit out what you need to be doing more of, what you need to stack together to help you get to your goals for 2020. And then we've also put together a special training to help you understand what our 3-part marketing strategy is to help you build a marketing system for 2020 that'll help you go beyond the couple of deals that you're doing right now. If you're doing 5 or 10 deals right now, how you can do more deals in 2020. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, please subscribe. Leave me a comment below with other topics that you'd like to know about, whether it's marketing, whether it's wholesaling in general, and then also leave me your goals for 2020. This will probably be the last video for 2019. So leave me what your goals are for 2020. Let me know what you're working on, and let me know how I can help you out. So I'd love to chat with you guys down in the comments. And again, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.